Welcome, everybody. How are you doing today? Welcome. It's very nice to have you here. And today I wanted to speak a little bit about our upcoming program, There is No Separation and Embodiment of Presence. And in particularly, I wanted to speak a little bit more about embodiment. What is embodiment? What is embodiment of presence? When I say embodiment of presence, I mean when the recognition of presence becomes functional in your life. And of course, this sounds so easy and simple, but we all know that's not how it is. Because oftentimes there really is a difference between how we know or experience presence when we are sitting quietly or when we are sitting in meditation. And then there's a difference when we are relational, when we are involved in the world, when we are interacting in the world. So embodiment, when presence becomes functional in your life. So that means when that recognition of presence, when what we know is true when we are sitting quietly, that is also true, and that becomes the guiding light, but that is also true when you are relational, when you are in the world, when you are interacting in the world. So to speak about embodiment, we have to speak a little bit about patterns of the past, how they come to be and how they sustain, how they survive, and I will speak more about this in the upcoming program. However, one part I want to mention right now is that the way patterns survive is by repetition. The way past sustains itself is by repetition. So even if we know presence in moments of silence and then we still act on the patterns of the past as they arise here, while you are relational, while you are interacting in the world, then that repetition still makes the past stronger. So we want to really find a way to bring that recognition of presence into our moment by moment experience. And part of that is our ability to recognize, to trust, and to act on what I call the true yes and no. Yes and no, that's really, if we were to talk about being relational and being in the world, yes and no is the definition. It's really what defines our interaction in the world. Yes and no, right? Either moving or not moving, either engaging or not engaging, either going this way or going that way, right? And of course, we all have that innate sense of true yes and no, and yet so often, because of trauma events or other challenging events in life, we have that ability to recognize the true yes and no has been impaired. And we also lost trust, which is simply lost trust in what we know in a moment. And so often I speak about trust, right? Trust is such an important part of, or a key element for awakening and for embodiment and freedom. So once we can start to recognize and regain that connection with our true yes and no, once we can start to recognize the true yes and no, which is still here, but it has been impaired. The past experiences have taught us we can't do this, can't trust this, can't move this way, right? Once we move through or recognize that impairment and regain our connection with the true yes and no, and then slowly regain our trust, because then it's not enough to know something in a moment. Then when the moment of action and activity and relating and interaction comes, in order for the patterns of the past to stop, we need to act on that. We also need to act on that, not just know it in a moment, but also act on what we know is true. So I want to look at that more in depth. Of course, there are many other things we'll be speaking about, but I want to look in depth at that in our upcoming 3-week program, as well as at the question of what to do when there is a high activation present in our nervous systems. Because everybody experiences that before, during, and after awakening, right? Same with embodiment. It's not embodiment after awakening, it's embodiment before, during, and after. Means moving with what we know is true at any moment, right? It doesn't matter where you are, what place you are in that journey, right? So high activation in the nervous system happens to everybody, and so often, it's really challenging to be present with that, to know what exactly to do, how to really help your nervous system and brain so that we can regain that ability to be present. And that's again, really weaves into the embodiment, right? Because we might know that everything is okay just the way it is. And yet that is so not our experience when that high activation is present, that sometimes that's really difficult to reconcile, right? The knowing that everything is okay, and then everything in your experience screams, no, it's not okay. This is not okay. Or something is going on that we cannot simply and easily come and sit quietly or sit in meditation. So I want to speak about that as well. And of course, as usual, many other things. And I am really looking forward to this program, and I really hope that you can join me.